Okay, we are live, and as always, this live stream was not really planned or anything like that. And I normally don't announce these live streams in advance, but here we are, and we'll see if we can get the chat moving here. I'll just give it a few seconds. Mountain Mariner, Off-Grid Alaska, good to see you. Good to see you. Uncle Charlie is here. Max Muster is here. So people are joining. Okay, okay. Hold on. Yeah. Okay, so sometimes you get comments on videos, and the nature of social media, I guess, is so that the troll comments or the hater comments are often those that will spark an ID that will become a video or a live stream. And this is such a live stream. That was on the main channel. I uploaded a video there on Friday, so a couple of days ago. And as I often do, I was sitting by my campfire um, in the woods. And as often happens when I do that, people, not many, but some people will write, "Good luck with sitting there in the woods when the world ends," or "Good," or "Why are you hiding in the woods instead of," and then dot dot dot. You can fill in whatever action that particular commenter believes is important. Very often they will say, "Why are you sitting? Why are you hiding in the woods instead of fighting the people that are invading your country?" So it's completely in. They live in a different reality. These people. Um, I can tell you there are no one invading Norway. Um, I won't get into that, but it's Norway is not some continental EU country. But anyway, so this comment was one of those, and it said something like, "Good luck sitting there in the woods uh, when SHTF, the world ends. I will be in my garden," this particular individual wrote. So the idea is that it is silly to have knowledge of how to gather resources from the woodland or the wilderness. By resources, I mean, well, pretty much everything, protein, um, plant food, um, firewood, materials for making baskets, glue, paint. Well, I could go on and on with that, you know. Um, and here's the thing, in the prepping community, I think, you know, it's a shame that there are so many stupid people in the prepping community. I'm sorry. I have to be blunt about it because that is a fact. Um, and it's a shame because the lifestyle and the principles are sound and sensible. So first of all, hold on. First of all, there's a health aspect to spending time in the wilderness, in the forest. Now, in that particular video, I was not really in the wilderness. The woodland behind my house, it's not much. There is not much left anymore. Only patches, sadly. But we need the forest to decompress, as Justin writes here. Absolutely. So there is a health aspect to this, which is important. I've never said or suggested that being able to take a little walk up in the woodland and make a campfire and boil some water for your coffee is a survival skill. It's, it's like I've never pretended that I'm a big survivalist when I walk up into the woodland here and sit down and chill out, as the Americans say. And I sit there and well, decompress. It's just something I like to do. It's And by the way, it's something that's quite common to do here in Norway. We like to go for walks here. You know, um, the Woodlander is here. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, so I would like to say this to anyone who says that, and it seems to be a common opinion among preppers in mostly I suspect this is an attitude that has grown and spread mostly in the USA. I hope I'm wrong. I don't know. But the attitude is that it is foolish to go out in the dangerous wilderness where the wild animals are. Oh, very dangerous and stupid, because you will be killed by a mountain lion in 10 minutes. You should rather work on your homestead and grow food. So, yes, if you have the opportunity to grow some food, you should. Absolutely. As uh, that's healthy. There's a health aspect to that as well. And you should get some supplies, well, quite a lot of the stuff that you're going to need anyway. You know, don't buy stuff that you won't need if you don't get the zombie apocalypse. But if you're going to eat pasta a year from now, you can buy some extra pasta. It's just common sense. So I'm not saying that you shouldn't be in your garden and grow vegetables. Of course, you should. I do, and and but you should probably do all of these things. You should store the stuff you need. You buy in the store, and you have a storage of food and supplies. You should grow food, and you should work on your survival skills out in the wilderness, and your hiking skills, and your physical fitness. All of these things. But I would like to return that troll comment. I would like to. Now I'm going to troll these people a little bit myself. And now it's not really trolling, it's just common sense again. Now, if society collapses completely, there is no law and order. Now, I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. But if that should happen, I think if you have, an area where you grow food, you're a big target. And this idea that you're going to be able, like for eternity, to defend your land and your potatoes from the thousands of hungry people out there, that idea is naive. Um, and if you think about it, it really is. It doesn't matter if you have one gun or 100 guns. You last time I checked, you can only shoot one gun at a time. So let's say you're a family of four, and everyone is there with their guns. That's four guns, okay? And you're going to have to sleep and all of these things. So I get a little bit frustrated by these people sometimes because they seem to live in this fantasy world where maybe they watch too many Hollywood movies, maybe. Um, I think that having a sensible attitude is the way to go move forwards. Um, and let's see here. Now, okay. Now, Denmark beer. I don't know if that comment was about defending your potatoes, but if it was, um, I don't think it really matters at the end of the day because the amount of people who grow food are so few in relation to the number of hungry people out there. Uh, and I'm not even getting into the problem with the government coming and seizing your those potatoes, which they will probably do in such a situation. So, um, Funky Prepper is here. Good to see you. Yeah, old Prepper says no. Sorry, that's a good one as well. I need to making soap. Yeah, um, absolutely. I think making soap is a bushcraft skill. Actually, I was just going to show this one. Some of you, well, many of you know Funky Prepper. Good morning to you. Diana, that's wonderful. Thanks a lot. Um, so, okay, so what I'm trying to say is that we should be a little bit realistic, more realistic, a little bit humble, and there are no supermen in real life. We're just human beings with a lot of weaknesses, and it's like I think I have quite good survival skills, but I would suffer if I were to if I had to leave everything, walk into the wilderness with my family because I wouldn't do it alone, then we would all suffer. I'm not pretending that it will be like, well, in the movies. Um, but that's just how it is. I don't think it will come to that, and we will probably see a shortage of food, which will result in and has resulted in a increase in prices. I mean, we all know about this, but we all know about this. Um, okay, but we should, if you have the opportunity to grow your own food, you should. Um, but that shouldn't lead to this attitude where you are making fun of people almost because they spend time in the wilderness. That's just silly. It is just silly. And I've said many times that having the tools to defend your property is wise. But at the end of the day, it's only going to get you so far. If people really want to take your stuff, they are probably going to be successful with that at 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 the end. I know a lot of people they don't want to hear that, but we are not Superman, you know. So just telling you how it is, or at least how I see it. So Yes, RWG Outdoors says we would all suffer no matter how good a survival type or bushcrafter. Exactly. Um, and let's talk about bugging out, which I've said many times is a much more likely scenario than the prepping community seem to imagine. Because if you look at situations around the world, um, people seem to be people seem to find themselves in a situation where they have no choice. They have to leave, and they have to relocate to somewhere far away. That's bugging out. Um, and so let's talk about that a little for a little while. I think the most important of all the things you take with you, the one most important thing is your physical fitness. I have come to that conclusion because everything becomes easier if you're able to walk with your backpack, which should not be very heavy, by the way, um, for, like, let's say 20 miles per day. If you're able to do that, you have a big advantage. I think, um, okay, oops. I think that even having a bug out location, which is also a big advantage, is not uh, fail safe. Some other people could have found it, and they might not be friendly. You might have to move on from there, and so on. I am so physical fitness. It's easy. Just take your backpack on, and go for walks. It really is that easy. So, um, yeah. Oh, sorry. Okay. There's a donation option here. Um, I am trying to collect $500 for an animal charity, so I've put that option next to or under the screen here. Um, we have almost gotten to $500, and it is what's the word? Legit. It's a very solid and serious, and there's nothing. It's not a scam, right? That organization is. I donate money to them every month. So if you were considering donating some money through a super chat and so on, you can do that, of course. It's not up to me to decide, but please consider instead donating some money to that charity. Funky Prepper, I think StreamYard is quite easy to use. It has some options, like I can highlight the comment here, and if you pay some money, you have some more options. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Mickey Duff is asking, has anyone seen the series Alone? Survivalists can't even survive very long on that show. Yes, I've seen it. I've seen several seasons of that, and um, what seem what seems to happen is, well, it shouldn't come as a big surprise. They starve. They get cold, and some of them get injured. For instance, using the axe. Um, so let's see. Denmark Bear says, I normally don't support soy. Well, it is. I don't know why that's the name, soy dog. SOI. Maybe it's they are, I think they're British and they're based in Thailand. Maybe it's a Thai word or a name. I don't know. Um, Bloodroots is asking, what do you think about black metal music? Well, I love a lot of black metal bands, big fan. Um, so, okay. Yeah, not one is saying, on alone, the problem is that they are alone in a pretty harsh place. So, being alone can be a big advantage, and it can make things much more difficult. It is, of course, easier if you're a bunch of people who all have survival skills and who are all quite physically fit. Um, that is not the case in real life. I don't think that will be the case. I think you will see family groups with typically one person in that group having survival skills. Um, that is much more difficult than being alone. So, and I don't think the I I've only seen the first seasons, and I've never been to, that was on the northwestern coast of the USA, I believe. I've never been there. Um, I've been on the western coast there, but I've never been that far north. But I from what I could see, compared to Norway, I don't think it was a very harsh environment. But I might be wrong. As I say, I've never been there. Um, so I think also that if you're close to the coast, it makes things easier. Uh, there's a reason why people, at least in this part of the world, they settled along the coast. It's it's a big refrigerator full of food, right? Um, it's much easier to fish in the sea than to hunt in the inland. Okay. Um, and I've seen so many strange comments. That's part of being on YouTube, I guess. But one guy said that I was not in a good position living by the coast because in an SHTF, the oceans will become battlefields. No. Have you seen an ocean? Yeah. Yeah. So that's hilarious. Um, good question from Lawrence here. What do you think about digital currency? Getting rid of cash, coins, and cards. I honestly think that going digital, digital currency is one of the biggest threats to freedom. Yeah, well, one of the biggest threats. And many other people have talked about this and written about this. And I believe that, well, maybe you all know this already. A digital currency will enable entities to decide what you spend money on. They will also be able to shut off your ability to spend money, and through that tool they will be able to control your behavior. So that is another reason why I believe we need to establish an alternative economy. I know the Woodlander has talked about this. Uh, we need to be able to trade outside of that system in the future. Hence the importance of growing your own food, making stuff, um, and yeah, because I'm not going to be part of that. I refuse to be part of that. So I know, of course, that if they move forward with this, which I think they will, I will not be part of society. I understand that, and it's not going to be easy. So I try not to talk too much about it because it's just, people say that I'm too negative. People say that I'm black pilled and all of that. So yeah, well, not talking about Bitcoin here. I'm talking about the state-controlled digital currencies that are coming. Exactly. The Woodlander says alternative and parallel societies are already emerging. Yeah. Will says, I grew up in Shetland where fishing was easy. Haven't seen fishing that easy anywhere else. Yeah. Will says, lots of people starting to ask, will they come for alternative communities, or will alternative communities that can survive be left alone? Who knows? And also, a big question here is, who are they? I tend to think that it's not like a one entity working in where controlled from above. I think it's much more complex than that. But I don't know. I don't know. It depends on how far into the future you are looking. Now, I'm a father, so I have to look very far into the future, um, actually. And I think we all should, but it's not so. The most important thing here is not how society is going to look 10 years from now. It's much more interesting to me how society is going to look 50 years from now, and even for my grandchildren. I hope to have grandchildren one day in the future, and I want them to, and my entire bloodline in the future, to have the same kind of freedom that uh, I have. You know, and that's why we need to call out these people who are trying to change society, creating into something that is not good. You know, mega cities having people own nothing, and constant surveillance of everyone. That needs to We need to fight that. Um, Hold on. Grumpy Acres Farm says community is everything. Absolutely. And up here, Oh, I did. I'm sorry. I managed to hide. I'm not. I'm not like an expert on this thing. I think I managed to hide a comment here. No, here it is. I was going to show this comment. If they won't take cash, then I won't do business with them. Exactly. Absolutely. So in the title of this live stream, it says, I think farmers. Uh, I can't remember the title, but farmers, hoarders, and wild men. I think it's wise to be a farmer. It is. We should not become hoarders, but we should have a storage of what we need in the future. Um, but we should also be wild men or be able to be wild men. I'm talking about survivalism in the wild. Because, you know, if something goes really bad, with the whole system, you're not going to find freedom in populated areas. You're going to have to go into the wilderness where there are no people. That's where you will find freedom. And if you ask me, that's where you will find freedom now as well. Um, Lawrence says Dutch farmers are in a fight. Yes, if you saw my video on the main channel that I uploaded on Friday, I showed you some images there of a tri-state city, which were sent to me by someone who lives in the Netherlands, and I find that it was very interesting. Um, so, okay, yeah, you know, um, I'm trying to find a comment here. Okay, so this is interesting. The comment says that we will not be left alone by corrupt globalists. Have we been? Are we now? Will we be? Um, if you want to be left alone, you can do that now. It's easy. Okay. Well, depending on where you live, but I here's what you need to do. Okay. Leave your smartphone at home. Go out in the woods. That's it. If you do that, you can't be tracked. Nobody knows you are there. And I know there will be people writing, well, they can see you from the satellites. They can see your walking pattern and all that. No, it doesn't work that way. That's why would they do that? No, they don't need to do that. Leave your smartphone at home, and that's the smartphone is. Oh, that's nice of him. The smartphone is where they. I'm going to say a rude word here. The smartphone is where they get you by the balls. You know, um, you need to leave it. You really have to leave your smartphone. Now, if you have a dumb phone like I do, it's much more difficult to trace you. They will need the cell phone towers. Okay, So they will be able to tell, and this information is not available to all the companies that I won't get much into the technical details, but I've looked into this. You have to trust me on this one. When you have a dumb phone like this, they will know which in which to which cell phone tower you are connecting, and then you move out of that one and into another one. But you know what? You can leave this at home as well. Yeah, like all of my childhood and my youth, I didn't have a phone. I didn't have a smartphone. I didn't have a mobile phone, and I was fine, actually. Um, it is that easy, okay? And I believe that if we all now, today, if humanity threw away their smartphones like now, today, we would set these people, these corporate bastards, these globalists, these corrupt politicians, we would set them back like decades. Just please think a little bit about it, okay? But of course, I know that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. People are going to keep their smartphone. So I'm just telling you, it. And if you think about it, it's true. It's true. Imagine, imagine if today, and I probably shouldn't say this because it will hurt my views there on YouTube, but there are things that are more important than that, like freedom and the future for our children, actually. What if everyone today threw away their smartphone and started using only cash? Can you imagine what a difference it would make? Again, I know it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And some people say, well, you can put it in a Faraday box, wrap it in this metal paper thing. Yeah, but you take it out of there, and in reality, people, they usually don't. So, and anyway, when you take it out of that Faraday bag, it's, yeah. But I feel, it's like it's gone too far, and I've at one point I thought maybe we can fight this, but I think it's much too late. We can't. It's a shame though. It really is, because we really could stop this. Okay, so yeah, yeah. A lot of people will go through smartphone withdrawal. Yeah, it's an addiction. Absolutely, um, absolutely. But so what? A lot of things that are uncomfortable, a lot of things that are necessary are also uncomfortable. So, Will says survival channels are more and more pinning down the real SHTF in October. I wonder if they will switch off the internet, money, etc., and just let it all happen, hide the reality. Um, eh, well, I hope not, but um, I've heard this thing about them switching off the internet several times now, and it should have happened a long time ago if the doomsayers had been right. Um, but I don't know. I wouldn't bet money on it. So let's see here. Okay. Think of the worldwide panic if the internet goes down. Yeah, I would be fine. Um, I wouldn't be able to upload videos here, but apart from that, I would be fine. Victory Gardener says slow burn to control the collapse, not going to happen at once or on a specific date. Absolutely, that's what I think is much more likely. But I actually wouldn't call it a collapse. I would rather call it a change into something that is not so good, you know. Yeah, here's an interesting one. Wait till the lights go out. Then we are going to have zombies. Well, um, zombies. I know what you mean by that. The zombies are the people who follow, who don't really think for themselves and who are easily led and all that. I I guess that's what you're referring to. But I highlighted that comment because of the environment. um, in in some cities now, they are starting to switch the lights off at night. I remember some time ago where I live, they it was like a public debate or a big debate here because we didn't have lights in all the areas here and in the city. Or we don't have a city, a town, and they said that, well, it's not good because if there's a dark area, you could have muggings and especially women being assaulted and so on. So we really need to change those light bulbs and put new lamps there. So what I'm trying to say is that it's a terrible idea to switch the lights off in cities because bad people like it dark, you know. So it's just a terrible idea. Hector is asking if do you see any hope in the future? Sometimes I see things going down a cliff. I'm really trying to keep some optimism and continuing believing we'll win somehow. I absolutely see hope in the future. It, I think one of the dangers of consuming too much or too many videos on these topics is that you get very pessimistic. Uh, in the prepping community, people are by nature preparing for the worst. And there's a difference between preparing for the worst and preparing for the worst and hoping for the best. We need not. We need to. We can't forget that part. Hoping for the best. There is always hope, and you know, a few decades ago, uh, it was much worse here. Right? In a lot of Europe, we were occupied. Treated as, well, most of our rights were taken away. Um, and I remember my grandmother, she used to tell me how during the war she was so scared when she saw the soldiers, the German soldiers, because they could just take you, put you in prison, and leave you there for as long as they wanted. Um, so compared to that, it's still not so bad, you know. Yeah, we need to. There is hope in the future. Absolutely. Yeah, Victory Gardner is also saying that fear is like sex in the prepper community. It sells. The end is always near. Reject the propaganda from all sides. Absolutely, because we need to remember that on YouTube, um, it is obvious that some of the prepping channels are doing what they can to get views, and I, I, it's difficult. I don't want to point my finger at anyone, but there certainly are channels that I think it's unethical what they're doing because they are taking hope away from people, and it's always like you say, the end is always near, and since the end is near, you have to buy these items now. Affiliate link in the video description. Now I have affiliate links, um, but I'm not saying that you're going to die if you don't buy that stuff, you know. um, yeah, okay, here's very good. This is the best comment today. I think this is the best comment today. Augustus says most preppers are only advertising they have food stored, and when SHTF, they will be robbed for their food. That's what I think as well. They make themselves like big, huge targets. So, yeah. So, if you're going to talk about these topics, then make sure that you have at least part of your food stored somewhere else. There is also, I believe, another problem. You know, don't get me wrong. It's like prepping is a very sound principle or a collection of sound principles, but there are some problems there, and another problem I would say is that a lot of preppers are they have one book, if you know what I mean. That's the Bible, and they truly believe that the world is going to end, um, because it says so in the Bible, and every other week they see signs and they will point at the place in the Bible there, and oh, now this is happening. Oh, the world is going to end, and Christ is coming back, and all of that. I think it's unhealthy. I think it's unethical. Um, Now, not ragging on Christianity here, but the it's we have a word for it in Norway, svovelpredikant, directly translated to sulfur preacher, actually. Um, and we had a lot of those before in the remoter areas of Norway. And they were, oh, it's the world is going to end, and you have to what's repent and all of that. So that's a bit of a problem as well. And they're taking hope away from people. So Colleen says the world isn't going to end yet. Absolutely. Well, we do know that the world is going to end because of the sun. You know, is it like in a billion years or 4 billion years or something like that? So eventually, everything will be gone. But that's that's okay, I guess. it it's not going to happen tomorrow or next year. Um, yeah, it will be swallowed by the sun. Isn't that? I I I'm not really. I don't know so much about that, to be honest with you. But I've seen the movies. Yeah. Um, so Kirsten says the best survival skill is knowledge of your surrounding wilderness, knowledge of herbs and plants to eat out there, hunting skills and good outdoor gear, and knowledge to build good shelter and a yeah. Um, okay. So, and here's the rest of that comment. Oops, what happened now? Sorry, sorry. Show like this, and a healthy, fit body. The sad truth is though that there's not enough wilderness anymore to retreat into. Well, I don't know about that. It depends on where you live. Um, I think where I live, there is enough wilderness. There are not so many people here, and there's a lot of wilderness still. Um, or uninhabited areas, I should say. Um, okay. Are we getting the Bible thumpers back here? Uh, I hope not. Oh, let's. Okay, Mr. Sorpo says Milky Way and Andromeda galaxies will collide. Not in our lifetime, though. Okay, I didn't know that. It is interesting, as astronomy and these things. It's a bit difficult to understand, but I have I have so many books I'm going to read now, so it's interesting. Um, oh, no, sorry. Berserker in 2019. I need to stop the chat before I. Berserker Gang 2019 is here. It would be awesome if we could all go and watch some of his videos because he's closing in on a milestone on his channel. Uh, okay. Yeah, well, I think it is a huge difference between Norway and the rest of Europe, or should I say, well, one thing is that Norway is not part of the EU, which makes a lot of difference. One thing is immigration to Norway, which is more difficult, but also it's if you're separated by the continent, by an ocean, it makes a difference, right? So that's kind of important, and I know that people in North America, they seem to view Europe as one thing. And I'm still annoyed by this video that I had the misfortune of watching parts of. Some little guy in a camouflage jacket ranting about how useless bushcraft is, and talking about uh, Cherokee Twilight is asking, what if the Bible is right, Björn? Well, what if it isn't? What if any random fiction book here behind me is right? What makes that book so special? You know, I have quite a number of mythology books. You know, they all claim to be the truth. Denmark Beer, good point. They're not a Bible thumper, but it is lack of morality that got us in this mess. Yeah, I truly believe that. First of all, if you need religion to have morality, there's something wrong with you. And morality, there is uh, has been under attack, and of course you could say that. Well, if you ask me, you know, key principles of Abrahamic religions are. I disagree with that. It's the opposite of good ethical standards to me. Um, but to understand what I'm talking about here, you really need to read it, you know. Um, but lack of morality is a problem these days. Um, okay. Yeah, okay. If you see the number of subscribers to this channel, there's one thing you need to know, okay? This channel was growing quite rapidly until I started doing the hidden hangouts. And when I do that, or when I say that I'm not a Christian and I do not respect Christianity any more than I respect any other religion that I don't agree with, then people unsubscribe and they make a mess in the chat. Now you need to understand, I'm not going to let anyone tell me what I can say, what I should say, what I shouldn't say, and so on here on this channel. It's just not going to happen. So if you don't like what I'm saying, you can leave, and that's totally fine. I don't care. I honestly don't care. You're getting, I'm being completely honest here, and I always will be. I will not, you know, it's not going to happen. If you have a problem with me, with what I say here, you don't really have to watch or listen. That's just how it is, you know. Nobody's forcing you to be here. Okay. Um, so um, so I'll just give it um, I'll just give it a few seconds. I'll let people unsubscribe. That's fine, you know. Ron Swanson. I like Ron Swanson. I will quote Ron Swanson. Okay, then I will move on, and we will then end the live stream very soon. I regret nothing. The end. So, okay. Yeah, Leo, I'm going to keep going here for a couple of minutes, I guess. But yeah, it's like it all comes down to being sensible, being making decisions based on facts, not fiction. Okay, and it's like when you have people saying that, well, I'm a gardener, I will be growing vegetables, and you're a fool because you're spending time out in the woods. It's okay, it's silly. We all know that's silly. Well, we all should know that's silly. um okay, so I'll just highlight that comment. No, I don't. But if that's how if that's what you heard, I don't think this channel is for you, and that's fine. So we should be we should have options. If you can grow some food, you should. It's also healthier than buying food in the stores. Um, if you can store, food and supplies and so on that you will need in the future, and that anyway, you should. It's sensible, and it's also very sensible to work on your fitness, to have survival skills, and to have skills that will enable you to spend time in the wild or remote areas, and move through those areas with a backpack, and also not only that, but also with maybe kids and people who are not as skilled as you, so that you will have to take care of those people. Okay, that's all of these things are important. And there's this saying, of course, you shouldn't put all your eggs in one basket. It is very true. Okay. Yes. Lawrence says, I learned to garden and process food from my grandparents. Yes, a good point. Let's see now, how many generations back? Not many generations back, it was quite common to grow some food and maybe have some chicken. Um, okay. So we are. It's quite a recent thing to be completely dependent on buying everything. Um, so okay, you know, um, there is actually a perpetuum mobile, isn't that what it's called? Uh, a machine that can perpetuum mobile. It a machine that just keeps going forever. It doesn't need energy. There is such a thing, actually. I'll tell you. I'll tell you about it. You know what I mean? Scientists have been trying to make such a machine for hundreds of years, with things moving back and forth, and levers going up and down. And do you know what I'm talking about? Perpetuum mobile. Perpetual motion, yes, and it doesn't need any energy. Yes, there is such a thing. Yeah. You know what it is? Um, People quarreling and disagreeing about religion. So let's leave that, shall we? Um, because I'm really not that interested. So, um, just out of curiosity, do you still wear a Mjolnir? Well, I don't right now. I have a few here. Sometimes I do, not like every day. Gets in the way when I'm in the gym and so on. Yeah, but I have quite a few, and I have one. Yeah, here. It has an odd shape though, but it's because it's made like a. I don't have a flinter, but it's a striker for a flint. That's very cool. You know. Okay, going to end the live stream now. Wonderful to see you all here. Yeah, as always, have a wonderful day, and we'll talk later. Okay, bye.